questions.
All right. John Bryce, you're up first. Go ahead, John.
Hey, Link, I just wondered what the last few days have been like for your team there in Charlotte after the Miami series, and if you could update us on the health of your team and kind of how you will construct your pitching staff going into these coming games.
We had to decide whether to go all the way back and be at home for a couple days and try to then reboot and travel down. We just felt like going from Miami here was easier after our travel's unlike anything else. So we just wanted to eliminate a mess. So we got here late Saturday night, just let the guys chill out. And technically we needed to have kind of Sunday off. Worked out Monday, practiced baseball practice at a high school field Monday, lifted Monday, practiced at UNC Charlotte yesterday, practiced at Charlotte actually 5 minutes ago, and the guys are getting a really light lift in. So Kyle's got the guys with a kind of just a maintenance type little workout, and we'll eat a little team function. And then, obviously we play tomorrow. We're probably the last team to play, aren't we? Yeah. So Brannigan, I think now he's fine. It's just, I think he felt something that he had never felt, and it wasn't, everything's as clean as a whistle. Like they did all the imaging, which was great. And the ACC has medical staffing, which allowed him to get an MRI, which was awesome. So he's fine. We just have to get him kind of back in the fold and eventually back to the pitching stuff. Miller, when you have that shoulder pop out like that, he's not going to be ready to play this weekend, and that's okay. It gives Penny a chance to continue to grow out there, and he's out there grinding for us. Ryan Cole's hammy's coming along. Like, we'll see where we are after everything today and let Phil evaluate him tonight and just be smart about what we're doing with him. So we're obviously trending in the right direction. Everybody takes on water this time of year, and I don't think any team is 100%, and we're not. But I think we've dodged some major issues, and we've been okay.
And then your pitching, how you will handle it, and I guess I meant from a mental standpoint, how your team had handled the last few days after some disappointment in Miami. To have a chance to win it, we didn't play great on Thursday down there. Friday was an exceptional game, and the third game got away from us. We had never seen Finley have those type of swings taken off him. The wind was blowing out at 20, 25 miles an hour, and they just had so many balls that they hit that actually were in that lane of how the wind blows down there. So it got away from us. They're tough. I mean, that's a complete team. Their bullpen is dynamic. Their starting pitchers know what they're doing. Palmquist is as good as anybody in the country. So they're good, and they beat us. Our guys were very disappointed. We had too many games along the way that just slipped away. And having Bedford back now, I think actually gives us another bullet in the bullpen. Wish we had it. We didn't along the way. But you're a half game short, and that's frustrating for everybody. You now turn your attention to the postseason, and I think through the battles, some of them won, some lost. We positioned ourselves pretty well for the postseason, even though last weekend, just obviously you want to win the series, and we came up a little short. The advantage we have in this tournament is, as the higher seed, you get to decide which team forces you to beat them to advance. So we'll see what happens today, and then we'll decide on our pitching after that. And Chuck and I have talked a lot about it. We've got to kind of see how we feel and how it looks, but whether it's Bertrand against Florida State or Virginia or Temple, I don't know that everybody's ready. So we're going to decide that later tonight, and we'll go with whatever we feel like is best. And playing on Thursday, Friday, even though, you make it to the weekend, it log jams things a little bit. It actually is probably easier on the management of the pitching, because if you're playing today or yesterday, you have some tricky decisions to make in terms of, do you want to try to run a starter back who already was on short rest last week, shorten it more this week? I don't know that that's wise. So it at least gave us the peace of mind of having guys in a position to throw as needed. They both threw their bullpens. So we're locked and loaded. It's just our decision, and that's a good thing.
Is eventually when Bedford gets into the rhythm of everything, is he a guy that can give you multiple innings in relief? You know, kind of what's his ceiling look like? The other thing is, do you think you can accomplish enough in the ACC championships here that you could maybe move up to a top 8 seed?
Yes and yes. I think Bedford can give us more. Now, you're essentially talking about an arm that didn't throw last year and, you know, has been thrown into the fire late in this season when the ramifications of every pitch are so high. He's physical, he's strong, he's just learning. And we see 92 to 96, we see a good breaking ball. For him, there's a big difference between that 92, 93 and that 95, 96. So it's kind of maintaining the intensity and what that feels like to him and being able to effectively run that 2-seamer in on the righties and really get it where it needs to go. He has gotten hit a little bit, but when he executes the pitches, the stuff is dynamic enough where at best the contact is very weak, or he can get some swings and misses on both of his pitches, and his changeup's okay, but his slider's tough. So we have to be able to get more than one inning out of him if we're going to make a run deep into this postseason. If we have a good ACC tournament, I think we have a chance at a national seed. You know, Matt and I have been putting together some of the things about our team that, quite frankly, I didn't know. I mean, we're basically one of two in the conference that are in the top 25 in scoring, pitching, and defense. I think we're a complete team. We've won a lot of games on the road. If you look at the conference, when you just step back, you know, our road record is very competitive, where there's other teams that have played great at home but have a really bad road record. So I think when you look at the balance of what a national seed looks like, I think we're in the conversation. That's felt that way last year, but it didn't go that way. So we've played the Big Ten teams. That was a little knock last year. It's not enough out of conference. We're 6-1 against the Big Ten. And, you know, I feel like we've put ourselves in good position to be in that discussion. Now it's in the hands of the committee. They can look over everything they want, but, you know, I think we're in play. Like, we would need to play well here. And if we do, we have a shot.
But we talked to you about Penny. I just wonder when you were recruiting him, just what you saw, what you liked about him, especially.
We went to watch, it was my first event I was at recruiting for Notre Dame, and we went to watch a left-handed pitcher, and that guy, something happened and his back was bothering him and he didn't pitch. And I was watching Penny warm up to play the game, and I could see his like hand-eye and how he just caught and threw the ball. And once I knew the one guy wasn't going to pitch, I told Chuck, I said, I don't know what to tell you about the guy that's not going to pitch, but I do know what to tell you about that guy right over there. So I just saw some subtleties in his actions that, to me, are very rare to see. His physicality, like his frame, his physicality for a young guy, really good. And then he came to one of our showcase camps, and you kind of see him on your field and, you know, doing the little things you do in a camp. And like, I was sold. And as a left-handed hitter, I mean, that's an added bonus. He can run. I mean, phenomenal student. This is, we're talking a 3.7, 3.8 student at Notre Dame, and he does everything you could ask. And playing second base is a little different. Playing third was a little bit different for him. He's like most high school infielders. He was a shortstop, but a lot of guys you have to move around. So we're trying to really acclimate him to all the pieces of second base, because when you go to the other side of the field, sometimes things are a little different looking and the ball comes off the bat, and the double play stuff at second it's trickier than it is at shortstop. So, but what he did in Miami, stepping in there like that in that environment, like to play the way he did, pretty special.
And long-term position wise, post Miller, post Preisner post Brannigan? Where do you see him?
You know, Tim, I think we have to look at like what the other guys are capable of doing. We're going to have a couple, you know, Preisner will be back. He is stabilized things for the team as the shortstop and he's comfortable there. So logic would tell you, let's maybe leave that alone and then figure out with some of the really talented guys we have coming in. And, you know, DeMarco was the Illinois, right, the player of the year. So Nick DeMarco was a highly touted player coming in. So you got Nick and Penney, and right now you can see what we're doing is DeMarco would be at third and Penney would be at second base and Putz is back. And I feel pretty good about that. Now we have some really talented guys coming in. You know, Owen Murphy's one of the best players in the country and he's a top 35 projection in the draft as a two-way guy. So early on, you're thinking, okay, this guy as a third baseman pitcher maybe is the next Brannigan, and I hope we get him. When you get into that discussion of draft selection, that can be tricky to get him to campus. And then Estevan Moreno coming in as a big physical left side of the field infielder. We've got some guys, and so Penney could play second. I've been very impressed. And sometimes when you see somebody offensively do well and they look comfortable at that position, then my gut tells me maybe that's a spot for them.
Right.
And so
Right.
that's where we are right now.
Yeah, thank you, Link. Last thing, just where you feel you guys are offensively walking into this tournament.
I'll tell you the same thing that I told you in February when we started this. I like the depth of our lineup. We don't have the raw firepower that some teams have. You know, the running game, the manufacturing game is in play. Sometimes that's hard if teams do a great job controlling the running game, which obviously most do. Then you have to find other ways to try to score. And that's where the extra base hit comes in. I think we've been spot on where I thought. I mean, we have scored runs in bunches. We have hit some home runs. It's just the raw firepower sometimes that you wish you had a chance to run some more balls out of there. That's just, it is what it is. We don't have that all the way through the lineup. There are some teams that may be a little more physical, but man, the fight and the balance and the versatility of the lineup, I really like. I really like. And, you know, Penney being in there does give you the left-handed bat. We talked all year about kind of, is there another left-handed bat that can break up, you know, Cote, Ziska, Brannigan, Lamanna, Putz. So
Coach on a streaming interview.
Wonderful.
can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
So I think I would give us a B.
Okay.
I think I could give us an A, but it's competitive. And, you know, when you look at the statistics, we had to go through the all conference stuff. And our field doesn't allow the numbers to be put up like you see it at Georgia Tech, like you see it in NC State, North Carolina. Some of the parks are designed to make your team look more damaging than they really are.
Mm-hmm.
If those teams played in our stadium for, you know, more games, it would be a little bit different. So I recognize that, and I try not to let that skew what I feel like our firepower, like power potential is. But I think if we had a little bit more, then we'd probably be an A. But I'll give us a B. And that was going into the season what I thought. And to be honest, if we're talking about the things we're talking about right now, whether it's offensively, on the mound, defense, I would probably take it. Now, look into what we're dealing with tomorrow. If you want to score, the offense approach and fight and pitch, it's got to be an A, or Messick's going to chew through you. So that's what we're looking at tomorrow.